And finally, our last part is going to be the cow catcher. And the cow catcher is crazy looking. There's all kinds of lofts, and there's a shell in the bottom. There's some pegs that come out of the back, but it's really not that hard. Let's just start out by drawing the bottom base here. Now, if we look at this back edge here, it's going to be 1.8. This side piece is going to be 0.25, and then it'll come to a point like this, a point that's 1 out. So let's go ahead and sketch that real quick. Start a new part here. And I'm going to sketch on the top view. Turn this top over. So I'm going to sketch that 1.8 that I was talking about. Then I'm going to come up a quarter. Zoom in so you can see this. And then I'm just going to do kind of 2 parts here. Alright, and now I'm just going to take my dimensions. Now I'm going to take my dimensions here and just have the constraints take care of the rest. So this is already a quarter, so I'm going to make this one equal this one. And you'll see it's the same size. I'm going to make these two equal the same. And lastly, I'm going to make sure it's centered by doing a vertical constraint on this point to the center line here. And now everything's good. All I got to do is extrude this. I think this is a kind of easier way to work with the loft, but you can do 2 planes if you want. So how tall is this? Well, we have to look at this view, and it's 0.75. Okay, so we're going to extrude this 0.75. Now the top of our part here is slightly bigger. So what I need to do, it's slightly smaller. So what I need to do is come in here and cut off this top portion. So I'm going to project this geometry and check out the look of this top. So the back piece here is 1.2. And this is 0.25, and then it comes to a peak, if we look at this dimension, of 0.75. Okay? So, I'm going to check one thing in the sketch real quick that I'm not sure if I did or not. So I'm going to go back to sketch 1, and I didn't. So from here to here needs to be 1. And this part is crucial. If you don't have that, it won't let you continue on with the extrusion that we're going to do after the loft. Okay, so back to sketch 2. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a line, and I'm going to start right at this center line. Actually, I'm not. I'm just going to draw it out here. It doesn't really matter. We'll use some constraints to get there. So just like last time, except I made this one too short, we're going to sketch out, and then we're going to use constraints. So this dimension is 1.2. This dimension is 0.25, and then we're going to equal it all up. So equal this, equal these two. My dimension from the peak to the bottom here should be 0.75, and these 2 lines should be, I think I just did that, equal. And then lastly, we need to make sure it's centered by doing a vertical constraint. Okay, now we need a coincident constraint, and we're going to take and make sure the center of this line is right on the center of this line here, like that. And now we can finish this sketch, and you can see we just have a little piece on top. Now we're going to loft it. So we're going to click loft. You're going to click the top sketch. So to show you that again, I click the outline of this sketch, and then you're going to come in and make sure you just highlight this piece, click again, and then click to add, and you're going to add this bottom sketch down here. Now you can't do it by just clicking on the edges. Or maybe you can. Oh yeah, you can. Sweet. Now what's happening here is this is joining. That won't work. This is cutting, and it's going to cut the middle of it out like this. We don't want that. What we want is to intersect. So click intersect here, and that's going to cut everything outside of our drawings off, outside of our sketches. And there's your intersect. Looks nice and good. The next thing we need to do is come in and add a shell here on the bottom. So you see this shell. And what's the thickness of that shell? We look here, and it's 0.1. So I'm just going to shell the bottom of this at 0.1 and hit check. So now that's hollowed out. Now we're going to come in, and we're going to knock out these little faces here. Now if you see, these are extruded in, but they're not extruded in all the way. It's only halfway, 0.5, if you see right here. So I'm going to create a sketch on this surface. Alright? And then I'm going to project the geometry of that surface, and then I'm going to do an offset here. Now how much is the offset? 0.01. See that? 0.0 or 0.1, not 0.01. So my offset here is going to be 0.1. And then just extrude this in half of 0.01 or 0.05. Now we'll do the same thing to this back portion here, or the other side. We'll sketch, we'll project the geometry, we'll do an offset of that geometry, 0.1, we'll extrude it into the piece, 0.05. Now you see we have those cutouts. The only thing we have left to do is add these 3 little pegs here. And these are the 3 pegs that are going to stick the thing into the front of your train. So that's why you have 3 holes in the front of the train, because all 3 of these are going to match up. So what I'm going to do here is just sketch on the back side of the cow catcher. And the circles that I'm going to sketch are a diameter of what? We need to look around the drawing here. And you see here it's a diameter of 0.125. And then they come out 0.125 as well. Okay? So let's go ahead and do those 3 circles real quick. 0.125. And then I'm just going to draw 2 other circles because I have my constraints here. And I'm just going to make all these equal. Alright? Now what I have to do is the dimensions. Where do these go? I don't know how far from the top or the bottom, so I have to look over here at this drawing. And what this shows me is from the bottom to the center of this peg, it's 0.625. And then from the center of this peg to this other corner, or the center of this hole, is 0.625. So this one's kind of wacky. So let's start here and just do these. Whoops. Whoa. If you ever do that, just click this little button here. It'll get your ribbons back. Okay, so this is 0.625. This one would be centered. So what I'm going to do is just put it horizontal here to the center of this. And then the dimension between here and here was 0.625. As we see here, 0.625. And then these 2 apart are 1.25. So here to here is 1.25. Alright. And then, what else do we need? I think that, oh, right here. We're missing these dimensions. So from the edge, so from the bottom to the center is 0.125, and from the right side to the center is 0.275. So that'll be this guy here. So this was 0.125. And then I'm going to line these up horizontally. So the center of this circle, using my horizontal constraint, should match that one. And then my edge. So from here to the edge. Oh, and I got a constraint that popped in there. Let me delete this project geometry constraint, because I still need this to go down. And that says 0.275. Oh, that'll work, because we came off the center, and then we measured these 2 off one another. So the dimension, you don't need that last dimension. So this right here is good. Now all we have to do is extrude our 3 pegs. And how far out do these pegs come? We see here 0.125. Alright, and now the pegs do have a little chamfer on the edge of them. See here, 0.01 at 45 degrees, typical. So we just need to chamfer off these 3. So we'll come to chamfer, make it 0.01, and just, ooh, clicked on the wrong thing there. Oh, what have I done? Okay, chamfer, 0.01, and we want this chamfered, and this chamfered, and hit apply. So you should see a nice little angled edge on all those. And now this part is done. So pretty easy. The cow catcher looks scary, but it's not too bad. If you have any problems with it, just let me know.